Hello students, welcome to all of you Shiksha 360 JAP classes. Basically, today we will start regarding the AFB, Accounting and Finance for Bankers. And we will start from the module C. First of all, we will cover the module C and after that we will go through chapter by chapter, one by one. So this is chapter 19, part 1. Totally, this is theoretical based topic. But if you understand this topic very well, then for understanding upcoming sessions or upcoming topics, it is very easy for you. So now let's start our discussion. This chapter basically will take three parts. This chapter it is covered in three parts along with the MCQs. Total we will discuss 70 to 80 MCQs, 30 to 40 in your group and 10 to 15 in our session, and rest basically we will discuss in the form of the practice set. So let's start our discussion. Chapter number 19, part 1, that is related to the financial management and overview. So let's start. So for all other JAP classes, you can refer to our sessions, accounts, retail, and Indian economy. Clear? For overall, this is the for any updation, you can mail on our email ID. So let's start our discussion. What we will cover, all these things is to be mentioned here. So let's start. So to carry out the business activity, or we can say that to carry out any business of an organization, funds play an important role. Clear? It's a very easy thing, that is, we know that for doing any business, what we need, that is money. Same thing here, that is to carry out the business activity of an organization, funds play an important role. When the business is started, the owners bring fund in the form of the capital. Okay. So capital, it is further different types. Which capital they are asking, we will cover. So normally any business organization cannot work satisfactorily just depending on the funds brought in by the owners or promoters. So they need funds from other ways also. How? So it has to raise funds, further funds, in the form of further issue of capital and borrowings. The funds are needed basically for what? They will need these funds. Clear? The funds are to be needed for creating the fixed assets as well as the working capital. Working capital, basically, what is the meaning of that? Basically, for performing day-to-day activities, they will need money. That is, it is in the form of the working capital. Like all of you are working in the banking sector, so you are very well aware that is working capital limit. Okay, CC limit, or you can say that. So fixed assets, this is basically for the long tenure, like building, machinery. So how these funds are used most efficiently, it is also important. So the financial activities of a business organization mainly relates to its assets, liabilities, and revenues. Clear? So the financial activities of the business organization mainly relate to its assets, liabilities, and revenues. I will cover in this session in detail regarding what is the meaning of assets and what are the different types of the assets. In the another session, in the part 2, I will cover liabilities and revenues in detail. Okay, so this is a little bit extra from the topic, but you will need these type of things in the examination for answering the questions. So for the planning, organizing, first of all, we have to plan, then organize that thing, then conducting and controlling. All these financial activities of the organization, it is a function of the financial management. You have to be understand all these things because directly you will find the questions from these things in the examination. Clear? So planning, organizing, conducting, and controlling. All these financial activities of the organization, it is a function of the financial management. In short, basically, we can say that financial management, what is the meaning of that? Planning, first of all, we have to plan, then organize. Organize, then we have to conduct, then control. So financial management basically means applying the management principles to matters relating to the financial resources and activities of the organization. Clear? So what is the meaning of financial management? That is means applying the management principles to the matters related to the financial resources and activities of the organization. Clear? And activities of the organization. So now what is the meaning of assets here? Okay, so I think all of you are understand that is just financial meaning, that is you have to apply the management principles related to the financial resources and the activities of the organization. That is financial management. So what is the meaning of the assets? assets in simple language we can say that जो आपके अपने हैं, ओके, जो आपने किसी को नहीं देने. Liabilities basically which we have to return, assets basically which we can create for us. So an important distinction here it is between जो आपके assets है, it is also of two types. So the important distinction here it is between so-called fixed assets and current assets. तो जो आपके दो प्रकार के assets है, एक आपका fixed assets आता है, second आता है आपका current assets. Fixed assets कौन से होते हैं? That is basically for more than 1 year. Current asset that is basically for less than or basically for up to 1 year. What is the meaning of that? Now let's understand in detail. So fixed assets basically are those assets that are purchased or obtained for the long term, such as land, buildings, and equipment. These assets are qualified as fixed: land, building, and equipment. Why? Because they are expected to play an important role in the activities of an organization for a relatively long term. Clear? So these assets are qualified as fixed because these are expected to play a role in the activities of an organization for a relatively long time. What is the meaning of long term here? The long term basically means depends upon what the organization does. But generally, basically, we understand it is a period of time when the assets can be used for operational activities until it fulfills its purpose. Clear? That is what is that is we can say that ये वाले assets हम तब तक use करते हैं जब तक हमारी जरूरतें पूरी नहीं होती. But generally we understand it is as a period of time when the asset can be used for operational activities until it's fulfill its purpose. Building, for example, might be useful for decades or even centuries, whereas other assets such as computers or other electronic devices may have a relatively short shelf life. So accounting convention, in the term of accounting, the long term basically it is understood to mean exceeding 1 year in the future. Clear? So for the answer, for giving any answer in the examination, what is the tenure of the fixed asset? That is basically for more than 1 year. That is to be termed as the fixed assets. Now next one, that is the current assets. For all sessions, you can subscribe our YouTube channel. So current assets, and for the JAB, CAP group links for the promotion examination, all the links are provided in the video description. So current assets basically are those that are expected to be used in a relatively short period of time or to be converted into the cash form. What is the meaning of the cash form will be covered in the next paragraph. So take for example like raw materials. A business purchases basically these assets. Raw material, it is an asset we have purchased to be transformed into the finished products. So they are then sold to the customers who will pay some cash for them, or possibly the finished products may even be temporarily converted into credits to the customer for a relatively short period of time. Okay. May even be temporarily converted into credits to the customer. That is, कस्टमर सामान लेगा, अभी पैसे नहीं देकर, कुछ टाइम के बाद पैसे देकर जाएगा या मंथ एंड पे पैसे देकर जाएगा जब उसकी सैलरी आ जाएगी. दैट इज और may even be temporarily converted into credits to the customer for a relatively short period of time, depends upon case to case. So how long it takes to convert current assets into cash? Clear? So how long it takes to convert current assets into cash varies depending on the nature of the assets and the features of the operation. Clear? Basically varies depending on the nature of the assets and the feature of the operation. For example, fresh food products have a more rapid turnaround. Then we can say that jewelry. Clear? That is fresh food products. Basically, we will convert them more easily into the cash than the jewelry. So in accounting terminology, however, short term basically it is generally a period of maximum 1 year in the future. Clear? So short term basically it is a period of maximum 1 year in the future. So here I think you are able to understand what is the difference between the fixed assets and the current assets. Okay, so we have left two more terms, that is liabilities and revenues, which I will cover in the next session. And what is the meaning of the, or we can say that function of the financial management, that is planning, organizing, controlling, and conducting. Conducting and controlling all the financial activities of the organization. It is the function of the financial management. Now we will cover one or two questions regarding the same. So first question here it is, what is the role of funds in carrying out the business activities? Clear? They are not necessary for the business activities. They play a minor role in the business activities. They play an important role in the business activities. They are only needed for the working capital. Clear? So what is the main role? That is, they play an important role in the business activities. So option number C will be the answer here, which we will cover in the first slide, which we have already covered. Second question. I have discussed these things 2 to 3 times. What is the financial management? Planning only, organizing only, conducting only, or planning, organizing, conducting, and controlling all are to be considered. Controlling financial activities all are to be considered under the financial management. Clear? Planning, organizing, conducting, and controlling financial activities all combined considered to be under the financial management. So option number D will be the answer here. Now next point. What are the different forms of the business organization? Very, very important to understand, and some are very tricky to understand. Clear? Like, what is the meaning? What is the difference between the association of persons and body of individuals? Clear? We will cover. So first of all, what are the different forms of the business organization? So the form of a business organization, it is a choice of the owners or promoters. So one question from my side to all of you: what is the difference between the owners and promoters, and what are the different types of the promoter? Just for the understanding purpose, you can comment in the comment section. Clear? So the form of a business organization, it is a choice of the owners or promoters. So there are certain benefits as well as certain disadvantages associated basically with various forms of business organizations in India. So this choice, like which business organization basically we have to form, this choice need to be exercised very carefully, because changing the form of the organization after the commencement of the business may attract tax liability. Like earlier, basically you have formed proprietorship, later we will form towards the partnership, or we will move towards the company, or earlier it is company, after that we will move towards the proprietorship. Clear? Depends upon case to case. Just for the example purpose, I have discussed this thing here. So this choice need to be exercised very carefully, because changing the form of the business organization after the commencement of the business may attract the tax liability. So what are the different forms of the business organization? So a business organization may have any one of the following forms. What are these? First one, that is the sole proprietary. Second one, that is the partnership form. Third one, that is the limited liability partnership. Fourth one, that is the Hindu undivided family. Fifth one, that is the association of persons or body of individuals. Sixth one, that is the company. Seventh one, that is the cooperative society. Clear? Seventh one, that is the cooperative society to be here. So sole proprietary, partnership form, limited liability partnership, Hindu undivided family, association of person or body of individuals, company, and cooperative society. In this session, we will cover up to these 5. So sole proprietor, simple proprietorship form, most common. A sole proprietor, it is a type of firm owned and run by one person, and in which there is no legal distinction between the owner and the firm. The owner, it is the signing authority, and there is only one owner under that. The business owner, it is referred to as the sole proprietor, or the signing authority, it is to be known as the proprietor, and the firm, it is to be known as a proprietorship. He or she exclusively owns all the assets and profit of the business. The profit of the firm is taxed as the personal income of the proprietor. Clear? Under this, that is the profit of the firm, because in the proprietorship, the PAN card, it is of the individual. Okay, so the profit of the firm is taxed as the personal income of the proprietor. What is the advantage? The advantage of such a firm, it is that it is subject to the minimum regulations. It is the simplest form of a business organization, but it faces limitation of capital, as the sources of the proprietor are limited. Clear? Because why? Basically, limitation of capital, because whatever it is the capital in the hands of the owner or the proprietor, it is the capital of the firm. Okay, that is covered under the sole proprietor. So what are the forms of the business organization? sole proprietorship only, partnership only, limited liability partnership only, sole proprietor, partnership, limited liability partnership, HUF, and association of persons or body of individuals. Clear? So what are the different forms? Option number D will be the answer here. As here, all these questions are seem to very easy because we will cover whatever we are discussing in the session, we will cover. Okay, so just for the reference purpose, I will show you here that these types of questions you will find. Okay, and we will cover all this question, whatever they have asked in the examination, what the questions will be shared by our students. Next one. Why should the choice of business organization basically be made carefully? Because changing after commencement of business may result in tax liability. Please answer fast in the comment section. Second one, changing after commencement of business has no consequences. Changing after commencement of business, it is a good idea. Changing after commencement of business is impossible. Clear, but that is if we have changed the business after commencement of the business, basically may result in the tax liability. So option number A will be the answer to be here. So now we will move toward the second form of business, that is partnership firm. Very, very important to understand what is the difference between the LLP and partnership firm. Clear? So please listen carefully. Partnership firms in India, and definitely you will get one question from here. So partnership firms in India are governed by the Indian Partnership Act 1932. Okay. So first question, that is under which section it is governed? Basically Indian Partnership Act 1932. So as per section 4 of the Indian Partnership Act, partnership basically what is that? It is a relation between persons who have agreed to share the profits of a business. Clear? What is the partnership? That is, it is a relationship between the persons who have agreed to share the profits of a business carried on by all or any one of them acting for all. Clear? So partnership, it is a relationship between the persons who have agreed to share the profits of a business carried on by all or any one of them acting for all. From this definition, the following points are clear. Okay, like we can say that in the partnership there are 4 partners. Clear? And one is the sleeping partner, one partner is that who is performing or doing all the works. Clear? And the other 2 basically are under the partnership form, basically just for the giving the capital. Clear? So this is the thing here. Different types of the partnership forms. So partnership, it is the relationship between persons who have agreed to share the profits of a business carried on by all or any one of them. Clear? That is, there are 4 partners, but one is the authority acting, or any one of them acting for all. From this definition, the following points are clear. First one, it is an association of 2 or more persons, minimum 2 or more than 2 also. There is an agreement or contract between the persons. The agreement is to carry on a business with the object of sharing the profits. The business is to be carried on by all or any one of them acting for all. So the further next one, the persons involved in the agreement are called the partners, and the entity created for the business, it is called the partnership firm. Okay. So the persons basically involved in the agreement, all these persons are to be called as the partners, and the entity created basically for doing any specific business, that is to be called as a partnership firm. Under this partnership firm, the liability of the each partner, it is to be unlimited. Clear? The liability of the partner, it is to be unlimited. That's why there is new form of business organization, it is to form, that is limited liability company, LLC. Here we have covered, that is LLP, limited liability partnership, or here that is limited liability company or partnership, different thing. So the Indian Partnership Act basically does not mention anything about the maximum number of partners. Okay, in the limited liability company, there is a liability of the partners depend upon case to case. But in the partnership firm, there is no, this basically in the case of partnership firm, the liability of the each partner, it is to be unlimited. And in the LLP, it is to be limited. So the Indian Partnership Act further, that is, does not mention anything about the maximum number of partners. So how we can say that? Basically, there are different acts in the partnership firm, but as per the Companies Act 2013 and the Companies Miscellaneous Rules 2014, a partnership can have a maximum of 50 persons. So maximum number of persons in a partnership firm, that is to be 50. A company can also be a partner in a partnership firm. The partnership firm may be registered, but it is not mandatory. In some cases, in some states, we can say that there is a mandatory for a partnership firm to be registered, but it depends upon case to case. So a partnership firm may be registered, but it is not mandatory. A partnership has no separate legal status apart from its partners. Clear? A partnership has no separate legal status apart from its partners. Next one, that is the limited liability partnership. Kindly try to understand here. Partnership Act, that is 1932. Limited liability partnership. It is a newly established concept introduced in India by Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. So as per this act, a limited liability partnership, it is a partnership in which some or all the partners have limited liabilities. It is therefore has elements of partners as well as the limited liability companies. Okay, so basically it is combination of what? That is partnership as well as limited liability companies. Features of both. Very, very important. Registration of limited liability partnership, it is basically with which organization, and of the partnership basically with which organization. So registration of the limited liability partnership, it is done with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Very, very important. Please remember this thing. Definitely you will get these things in the form of the question in the examination. So registration of the limited liability partnership, it is done with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, while register of a partnership firm, it is done with the Registrar of Firms. Clear? It is done with the Registrar of Firms. So a limited liability partnership, it is a legal entity. Unlike a partnership firm, which has no separate legal status apart from its partners. So in limited liability partnership, one partner it is not liable for the acts of another partner. All these things we will cover in the separate subject. Clear? There are 4 subjects, all you are very well aware. So basically, functions, or we can say that characteristics of the partnership firm, we will cover in the another subject. Okay, so here just a limited liability partnership, it is a legal entity unlike a partnership firm, which has no separate legal status apart from its partners. In limited liability partnership, one partner it is not liable for the acts of the another. HUF, that is Hindu Undivided Family. So HUF, it is a form of business organizations existing only in India, and it is governed by the provisions of the Hindu law. It is different from a partnership firm, as it comes into existence not out of any contract but birth in a Hindu family. Like we can say that a person has 4 sons, clear? So they can easily form the HUF, clear? And who is the signing authority? That is the senior most member in the family. It is the signing authority, and that person it is to be known as the Karta, and all other family members are to be considered in the form of the co-parceners. So the firm, it is owned by the members of the undivided Hindu family called co-parceners. Clear? All other members of the family. The business of the HUF, it is typically managed by the senior most male member, that is to be known as the Karta or manager. For the sake of income tax, the HUF, it is to be considered as a separate entity and it is taxed separately. Clear? Basically, why the HUF it is formed? That is business. It is of the family business. Okay, generation by generation, family is doing the business. So, and under that, HUF basically it is also separate entity and it is also taxed separately. Clear? Mainly, it is to be formed basically for the saving of the tax also. Okay, so up to this much point we have to cover in this session. In the next session, we will cover from the association of person or body of individuals and company and cooperative society. All these things we will cover in the next session along with 7 to 8 questions. Hope you are able to understand whatever we have covered in this session. And if you have any doubt, any query, then you can comment in the comment section. We will discuss that doubt also in the next session. So thanks to all of you for joining this session. And I request to all of you, please share this video with your friends also, so that all of them able to understand all these concepts in detail and clear the examination. So thanks to all of you.